Yes, my friends, welcome back. It's been a while, I know, but obviously this Saturday, 5:30 p.m. UK time, we have a massive London derby against Arsenal. And to be fair with you, it's been like nearly 4 games since we last beat Arsenal back in 2021. It's starting to feel like maybe Arsenal now are running London at the moment, and it's not really resting well on my heart, I can't lie. But anyway, of course, today I got a very special guest on. And Babs, how you doing today, bro? How you feeling about Saturday as well? Let us know.
Firstly, can I just say I love that introduction. Arsenal running London. I mean, I've waited for days like that. I've prayed for days like that. And having gone to school when Chelsea were a good, very, very good side, it was painful. But it sounds like we're getting back on track.
Bro, yeah, her actually saying that, not gonna lie. Let's not focus on that too much. Let's focus on other things. And obviously, I think us fans want to know, why are Arsenal so effective right now?
Effective right now, I think is a good word, because I don't think we're very appealing to the eye, but we're winning games, getting points. I think it comes down to the fact that we're just trying to get the job done, and it's a matter of kind of doing the basics right. We're not trying to be too elaborate. We're not trying to play football like last year, be too, I guess, explosive, because while it's very good for fans to watch, it's not really sustainable in a title charge. You have to kind of be more sadistic, a bit slower, a bit more of a get the job done for now, and then when the season starts actually getting serious in like March, April, when City get going, that's when you hit your real form. And I think we're trying to do a bit like what Man City do, whereas at the start of the year it's a bit slower, it's not as appealing to watch to the eye, but it's getting the job done, getting 3 points and staying within range and not trying to run away with it. Because look, this time last year we were flying. Every team we blow them out of the water. We went to Stamford Bridge, of course, and beat you guys 1-0, but it was a very Arsenal dominated that game. But now it's a bit more of kind of pick your moments, don't press too much, don't use too much energy, because it's a long season. So why would you there's no point of winning the season halfway through and then losing second half of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Like, obviously, the last time we won the league under Antonio Conte, there was a pattern in our recent Prem title wins, and that was, explosive starts, and then midway through the season, you're then playing more counter-attacking football. You're giving the opposition a different way to play against you, so they can come onto you, so you can protect your leads, of course. And going back to what you said too, it's about just managing your stamina. It did feel like last season, Arsenal kind of petered out near the end. Not only was the mental pressure higher, but I think physically as well too. I felt like the squad was kind of feeling it a lot, and I think that's why you guys kind of petered out. So I think what you're saying about an effective start to the season makes quite a lot of sense. And I also think on top of that too, I think the opposition, I just think teams in general now respect Arsenal a lot more. And I guess naturally that's going to make for more difficult games now. Do you feel like Arsenal now are playing against a more defensively strong team now?
Yeah, I think teams now, they will sit back against Arsenal. I think even when you watch the United game, where they just didn't want to get out of their box at times, because they realised, look, I think if teams know that if they give Arsenal space, we will hurt you. And I think, look at the game against Spurs. People will say that as Spurs were the better team. I'd argue in the first half the game should be over. In the first 30 minutes, Spurs tried to play onto Arsenal. We pressed them, we won the ball back and made numerous amount of chances, but we weren't clinical. But that was a good example of when the team gives us that initiative to press them, we can hurt you. But obviously another good example where Arsenal aren't as decisive as Man City, where they can go kill game off in the first half. Arsenal need to kind of pick their moments. But United, for example, even City, Arsenal were dominating those games in certain aspects. Second half against City, we were far more dominant, more touches in the box, more possession, more shots, and obviously the goal as well. So I think it's about control for Arsenal, because we realise that teams are going to respect us, which is perfectly fine. And that means that sometimes we have to play a bit more ugly football, throw in the box kind of, make some issues, because it's not as easy as when teams are not scared against you, they come onto you, there's space, and then you can counter-attack and it looks amazing. But if there's no space, how are you going to counter? So against Chelsea, I'll be intrigued to see, because you guys have played a style of football this year, even though it's not been effective in terms of points. You've been making chances, getting forwards, possession based. I think you are actually averaging higher possession than Arsenal per game, slightly. Yeah. So it shows you're dominant. So I want to see if that stays the case. And it's important to see where that possession is going to be. Is it going to be in your half, or is it going to be actually in Arsenal's half?
Exactly.
Which will give because Martinelli and Saka should be fit. And likewise, Jesus, maybe in your boy Kai Havertz up front. I don't know, we'll see. So it'll be a fascinating game, and I think it will be closer than last year. It has to be closer than last year, because last year it was 1-0, but we dominated the game completely. And I want to see what Chelsea have to offer going forwards, because your attack is young and unpredictable.
For sure. I think that's a very great point you're making. To go back to your possession point, it does kind of feel like maybe at times we are a bit ponderous with our possession use in our half. I'm looking at Thiago Silva averaging over like 100 passes in games. Our centre backs averaging like close to 90 to 100 as well too. That's like what, nearly 20% of your possession right there, or even 30% of your possession right there from your centre backs. So we have had our difficulties against teams that park the bus. It hasn't been perfect for us because injuries at the wrong time. Missing Christo Nkunku, a massive player that was a real like glue in terms of like, linking up midfield and attack, showed promise in pre-season, and missing him wasn't ideal, plus other injuries to Khans, etc, etc. But it does feel like now we've got a few wins on the bounce recently. Things are looking a bit more promising. I think Pochettino is doing a few little different tweaks. Like, for example, how we approached the game against Liverpool, where I felt like we should have won that game at home. We dominated possession. I do feel like against you guys, we might play to our transitional strength. We might allow you guys to come onto us more, knowing the fact that we have strong centre-backs. We're strong in that 1v1 duel and battle. Plus, now we have pace and we have quality in the transition. A few years back, bro, we weren't a team that couldn't score anything from counter-attacks. We just weren't that team. It was all about horizontal possession, control, blah, blah, blah. But right now, Pochettino has brought a different spark in that sense. So I do feel that that could be our secret weapon against you guys, to try and lure you onto us, trust our defence, and then find effective transitional moments against you.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fascinating battle in terms tactically, because I think it's the first time that Poch and Arteta have gone head-to-head, if I'm right in saying. So
yeah,
we'll see. And I think Poch is actually a guy that rates Arteta highly from before he was a manager. I think there's quotes from Poch where he was at Spurs saying that when Arteta was leaving Arsenal as a player, he actually wanted him to come and join as a coaching staff because he rated him highly. And I think there was even an interview where Poch kind of said, he was asked who was going to be a manager out of the next players, and he said Arteta. So clearly he rates him highly. I think this will be key for Arteta, is how much respect he shows Chelsea. So against United, he said, look, we know that your players transition best, so we're going to have you the ball. Give you the ball in the first half, player on the back.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you space in behind. Now, if he values Chelsea as highly as United, he'll do the same tactic. He's done it before this season, he'll do it again. He'll give you the ball in your half and you'll see how good you are. And he'll also pick and choose when to press as well. So if he thinks your defenders are suspect to be impressed, he will press them. But if he believes you've got the quality to play through us, he'll kind of not play into your hands. So it's all about, who kind of sets up the best to win, and also luck's involved as well. Sometimes players make a mistake. We saw it against Chelsea years ago. Jorginho give the ball to Smith Rowe, we scored. So it happens. And hopefully this time Jorginho doesn't do it against Arsenal. But
that's why we saw them to you guys after that moment, to be fair.
And I will say one thing is the midfield battle will be very fascinating, because Partey's back, Rice is available, and Odegaard's there as well. But then we'll start Jorginho, who played well against City, and then of course Chelsea. I don't know if Lavia's fit, but you got Caicedo and Enzo, Conor Gallagher probably starts as well. So it's a physical battle.
I guess making that last point, it segues into I think one of your big signings of the summer in Kai Havertz. For the viewers right now, what has been your initial impressions on Kai Havertz since he signed for you, man?
Look, he's not been impressive. I won't sit here and lie and say that I've been really wowed by how he's played. I'm trying to figure out what Arteta's plan is, and the games I've been impressed by him was when he's played up front for Arsenal, for sure. I think his link-up play is very effective, and it's simple, and it feels like when he plays in those areas, he's used to it, so everything's automatic. It's not thinking too much. Playing in a new position on the left-hand side of midfield, I see a player that's still learning. He's thinking too much. Should I play that pass? Why not? Havertz, for me, looks his best when he's just keeping it simple, relying on instincts, and not really a player is given too much responsibility, because he's not Xhaka. He's not a build-up phase player. He's not going to play out of the back and fire off 100 passes per game like Enzo Fernandez. But he is a player that when he's in that final third, he's effective. He's got very good control, and we saw it against City off the bench. So now we've got Rice available to play as 8, Partey's available as a 6. It's the first time this season that we've had that available. We saw it against City in the second half. Jorginho actually played in the first half as a 6. So now we can play Rice as an 8. I want to see now if Havertz is still used over Rice as the 8, or is it a matter of fact of only because Partey was injured, we used Havertz there to see if he adapted there, didn't quite work out, and now he'll be almost our backup striker to Jesus, or might even start over in some games, because look, one thing Havertz gives Arsenal is ability to go long. We saw it against City in the first game in the Community Shield numerous occasions, and against City last week as well. I mean, that the chest control to Odegaard, it was a little touch to the assist for Martinelli as well. So Havertz, for me, not impressive. I'm hoping for the best, as everyone does, but hopefully we get the Leverkusen Havertz, which for me is just a player who relies on instincts. You got to have a player who's confident and instinctive, arriving in the box, playing to his strengths. And I don't think Arsenal have done that so far this season.
That's a very interesting take on Havertz. I kind of look at Kai and I feel that now that he's signed for you guys, I can even like re-examine him a bit differently now. Yeah. You know, if I was to be honest, from my own opinion, I do feel like he'll probably need at least a year with you guys to kind of like undrain the DNA that he learned from being with us. Because like the reality is that Kai was a Roman Abramovich signing. That's why we signed him, because Roman's like, listen, this is a guy I think that could be the future, one of the top young stars in world football right now. I need to bring him to this football club. And I find it very interesting that recently Frank Lampard revealed the fact that he didn't really have much of an idea of how he was going to incorporate Kai Havertz in this football club. And I think this has been the main issue of Kai Havertz. He's evolved to become a Frankenstein of different managers' ideas, where one manager might use him one way, Tuchel might use him up front or as an cam or as an attacking mid. Same thing with Graham Potter. He was played like right wing sometimes, up front as an attacking mid in midfield. For a young player that's still trying to learn and find himself, it's not conducive to being able to really maximize and excel your skills. And it reminds me of something back in Germany when like they did this whole thing where I think after like the 2008 Euros, I think they had a really poor performance in that competition, and I think then the German FA and figures there really re-examined how they were developing players, and they realized that the caliber of players they're producing is not going to help this national team. And there were lots of interesting ideas coming out during those times, and I think one idea was this idea of maybe like a 4-2-4, the German team, which involves relying upon an attacking four, where these attacking four players will be comfortable playing in different positions, rotating in and out, bringing like new, dynamics and solutions in game, right? And I think this is where recently Germany have produced a lot of these like Kai Havertz style of players that are, positionally fluid, that can play multiple roles. But I think what hasn't really helped them is that I've always thought with a player like that, ideally, you really let them excel if they're going to have that freedom, right? To really like, okay, I might play on the left for a bit, I might play on the right for a bit, I might move up front. Because if you can do all those things together really well in game, that's going to cause a lot of issues. But I think that the reality doesn't really work like that, as we've seen. And I think in the end, he kind of became like a victim to all the different managers and their different ideas and plans. And I think what really sums it up is the fact that you look at Havertz, compare him to Leverkusen, and right now, what's the difference you see?
Confidence.
The guy is not even confidence, bro. Physically,
yeah,
he's built like a forward now.
Yeah.
Back then, he was looking kind of Cole Palmer-esque, where he could like shift directions. He can drop a shoulder. Like he's bulky. He's putting a lot of mass now. He's been developed to be more of a striker, and then even for us, he didn't really play as a striker like how we should have used him. So I do think that Havertz, there is a lot of potential. That's why you guys are paying him over 300 bags a flipping week. I was like, wow, that is serious money you're committing towards him. I think Arteta isn't a dumb guy. I think, as you've mentioned, maybe struggles as an 8. But you can use him as a 9. You can use him in other ways, and I think that's where you'll get the benefit from Kai. But I do feel like it's going to take him at least a year with you guys to really break away from old habits.
I think we've signed him a year too soon, and I say that because he strikes me as a secondary striker, and that only works for Arsenal if we have an out-and-out number 9 who's like a proper old-school 9. You look at the, Rasmus Højlund, Erling Haaland stays in his box, and you've got players to play with there. I think at Arsenal with Jesus, he's too fluid, and for Havertz, that doesn't really work as much, because he wants a defined striker to play off, and he can't do that. And I think the long term what we'll see is Odegaard become more of the build-up phase player, which suits him more. Havertz become more of the output machine. But right now it's kind of flipped because Havertz is a bit unsure where to play, and his best area for me is where Odegaard is playing on the right hand side. I saw his heat map at Leverkusen, it was all on the right hand side, and at Arsenal it's on the left. That's why I'm not trying to judge the player too much, because I'm realising he's playing in an environment that isn't suited to him. So I can't expect him to just go and thrive like that straight away. And maybe he has long-term potential there. Maybe Arteta can unlock it. He gets used to it and it becomes more automated. Right now it isn't. So, but look, all it takes is one goal in an important game and everyone loves him. I think that cameo against Man City gave fans an indication of where he can play right now for Arsenal in this team, which is a 9. Off the bench, maybe as like a long, going long for him. You say if it's not working out, go long towards Havertz. He'll hold the ball up, get it up to the other players and play from there. So I think there's potential, which Chelsea fans are aware of because they've seen potential for a long time with Havertz. And now Arsenal fans are going to have to fight that debate until he arrives, starts scoring goals, and then I think everyone will see it.
Yeah, well, and we'll see, but that will fully be dependent on how Arteta plans to use him. I don't know. I just feel like, obviously, there's always big expectations naturally around him. I sympathise a little bit because I feel like, listen, if he went to like Madrid at the time or Bayern at the time, I think he'd have a lot more of like a focal role, which he's acclimatized to. And then I don't think we'll be seeing this beefed up Havertz that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw his numbers actually.
I don't know what he's doing right now.
Dribbling numbers have gone down quite a bit from Leverkusen.
A lot. He was, I was over 2 point something a game. Like, I watched him a lot too, bro. Like, he was very involved and active. Yeah. So I don't know. Chelsea fans might not agree, but I'm always going to feel like we didn't develop him properly because we don't really have a plan until right now, it seems like.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's your problem now to deal with. It's not ours, isn't it? So I guess, obviously, Babs, before we end things, man, give me your prediction in terms of how you see this game going very quickly, and then we'll wrap things up, mate.
I want to say, I'm obviously going to go for an Arsenal win, but that isn't because I'm entirely confident that we're a better side than Chelsea, but I have a feel like, with Chelsea, they've got momentum right now. They've got 2 wins in a row. And I think with that, you're entering that phase having gone through such a bad patch of form, despite playing some decent football with the recent, so far of the season, on numbers, all your numbers are decent. It shows that you're being unlucky. And that says to me that you need a statement win. And that could come against Arsenal because you're at home and you ain't beat us in a while, and you've got all these new young players that are, a bit more, reminds me a bit of Arsenal when we were younger as well. So now we're going to see if that is the real deal. But if you lose to Arsenal, it won't be a matter of Chelsea or Port. Arsenal are a better team because we're ahead of the project.
Well developed team at the moment, exactly. Like a year or two ahead.
So if it goes gun for gun, Arsenal will win because we've got, all our attackers are fit and available. If Saka's not fit, then maybe it might be a different game. But we won against City without Saka as well. So I'm going to go for we're actually very good away from home defensively. We don't concede goals. We've not conceded, I believe, a single away goal this season away from home in the Premier League, which is a sign Gabriel and Saliba are fit. Until now, you might score, so I'll give you a goal. I will respect that enough. I'll go close. I'll go like I want to say 2-1. It'll be a close game. I believe so, at least. And if it goes footballing side, hopefully Arsenal come out on top.
We'll see. I mean, listen, fingers crossed, no VAR nonsense, no referee nonsense, God willing, none of that nonsense happens in game. But I don't know, for some reason, I'm feeling a bit optimistic. And that's because I feel like when we play against teams that, because our kryptonite has been teams that park the bus and defend. We're not there. We're just not there right there. But against teams that can open up, we have the quality to play through. I trust our defense. They're very strong. They're very solid. They're very good. I think on midfield now, Caicedo is now really, he's dusting off that preseason cobwebs now, and he's really showing what he's about. Conor Gallagher has evolved, and I think up front we have options. I think Nico Jackson, Sterling got decent form. I see it either being a draw or I see us getting a surprise win against you. And I think getting that win against you guys can really do a lot of good for us going into the month. So I'm probably going to go for another 2-1 win to ourselves. But come on, of course you want to go for your team. I'm going to go for my team. Why'd we even do this?
Yeah, exactly. It happens all the time. And if I came in and said a Chelsea win, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's
and the fact that you said surprise win. And you're Chelsea at home. That it shows the levels.
You focus on the details too much.
I like it, man. More than you believe. I love it.
Okay. But anyway, I think it's probably the best time to wrap this video up, right? So, my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed. You know where to follow Babs, of course, on YouTube. I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.